Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. We welcome you to another installment of the program Insight. This is our 32nd installment, and we've been broadcasting since July 15th. And we're so glad to have you here once again to be a part of this. Insight is a program that is designed. Education can never be limited in any capacity. So it's designed for people that we invite to come on and to share experiences, and certainly in the experiences, but also give advice or what people can learn from the people who we are interviewing in very many ways. So we are thankful that you're able to come on, and we're thankful to God because of the fact that this program has been a blessing to many who have seen it. And so before we present our guests, I just want to let everyone know that we will be going up until June the 30th. And then on July and August, we will have off. We're going to do some creative things take place. And we will begin again September the 1st. And one of the creativities we're going to try to do is going to be introduced next week based on our guest who has a lot of historical things that goes on in her life. And so we are happy to do that. So again, we will be off July and August, but we will not be final. We are just going to have creativity. I want to thank the producers, Reverend Derek Jackson, who is not only the co-pastor of the Bethlehem Nation, but he's also my son in ministry and son-in-law. We're thankful to Linda Ackerson Kendall, who is the administrative assistant and our deacon in training. We are thankful to Miss Deaconess Asia Camp Jackson, who, of course, is the wife of Reverend Derek Jackson. And we're thankful to Sister Niger Elizabeth Camp, as they have all added to this and been producers of this. I want to say this, that our guest tonight has the same look and favorite features of my daughter Asia and my daughter Nisha. So you can tell that they are cousins. Good evening, Miss Ridley.
Good evening, Reverend Camp. How are you?
Doing well. Now, I want to let everyone know that Miss Ridley is the first of all of these installments that we have done, is the first to come on the second time. Having said that, it doesn't mean she won't be coming on again, but she's the first to come on the second. See, she was so impacting, and other things are happening in her life, and I asked her to come on to be a part of it and to explain it. So I want to say this: her mother, Sheila Lawrence, is certainly one of the most enduring person, and tough at that. Her brother Trevor, and then of course her wonderful husband, and certainly her children, meaning Tameka Ridley. Her husband and her children have done such and are still doing such a wonderful job as they continue to grow. Now, let me ask you this, Ms. Ridley. This is the question I want to ask you now. You hosted recently Black History Month, a Black History event at Lehman College.
Yeah.
What were the things that took place, and what were the discussions that happened at that event?
Okay, so first off, hosting the Black History Month event at Lehman College, that was just an incredible honor in itself that, I was even, I proposed the event myself, I came up with the idea, and it was executed so fast and so efficiently. So I was just extremely thankful. So the event took place last Friday, February 25th at 3 p.m. And the event was, can you hear me? You can hear me?
I can hear you low. I don't know what had happened, but
Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you. You're still kind of low, Tameka. You're still kind of low.
Okay, can you hear
Blast the
me?
volume up. I don't care. Blast the volume up.
I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. We'll wait. Don't feel rushed. Now, as Miss Ridley is getting ready, we want to present this video of her book, A Rose in a Dark Place. Please watch this.
Said I can't hear now.
I hear you. And this is Tameka Ridley's book, A Rose in a Dark Place. I read the entire book. She talked about it last time. And if you get a chance on Amazon, please, by all means, that is a book that people should have in their library, especially for those of us in ministry and those of us in life, to be able to see how young people have survived and how young people can be a witness to everyone else, including for those of us that are older. Now, go right ahead, Miss Ridley. I hear you now. But now you're low again. All right, that's all right. While you're getting ready, just shout out and say, "Can you hear me now?"
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So, I mean, just hosting the Black History Month event at Lehman College in itself was an incredible honor. And it was such an honor because I was able to propose the event. I was able to execute my own ideas with the help of the entire Student Government Association. And so the event took place last Friday, February 26th at 3 p.m., and the event was completely virtual. And so I was able to come up with a presentation. And so the idea was, how could I, for Black History Month, honor my ancestors? And so I figured the best way to honor my ancestors is to help this generation be more successful. And I said, how can I do that? Right? In a presentation for Black History Month. And I said, how can Lehman students benefit from this as well? And so basically, I felt like a lot of students now more than ever are facing so much uncertainty because of the coronavirus pandemic, financial hardship, and just discrimination based on race. And so I felt like they needed some type of clarity to execute their visions for the future. And so that's where I came up with the idea for executing visions for the future. And so I had the honor of having three wonderful speakers speak for the event. So I had Akosua Nantachi. She's the author of Dear Nice Girl. And she came and she gave her personal story of how she published her first book. And then she read excerpts from her book, and it was absolutely amazing. And she actually wrote her first book pregnant and on the campus of Lehman College. So that was amazing. And then we also had Jonathan Yobi. He actually spoke, and he was a Lehman alumni and graduate student who is now hosting leadership and entrepreneurial workshops at Lehman College, which I've attended. And he gave his personal story of how, he was focused on going one direction, and then things changed, and he ended up, not only did Lehman give him the tools that he needed, but he actually is now teaching other people those tools. And then our third speaker was Mr. Lawrence Fort Leroy. He was the president of the Alumni Board Association at Lehman College, and he was absolutely incredible. He basically talked about the different programs and resources available to students, so that way they could develop a plan for their futures and successfully execute them. So the event was amazing. In the presentation, I had, the Black National Anthem. I created a Spotify playlist for everyone. It was just really, really fun, and it was really nice and unique. And I just was very honored to even be a part of it.
Now, let me ask you something, Ms. Ridley, and what you said in that how it went in terms of the Black History Program. You said you wanted to honor the ancestors. I think that's a wonderful thing. Sometimes we have a thinking that well, the ancestors are the ancestors, but to be able to honor them, I would say, is one of the creative ways in which the oppression and those who threw themselves over the ships during the transatlantic slave trade, that made you feel, I guess, really, really personally involved to do something in that respect.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not only did I try to do that with this event, I always try to do that in everything that I do. And when I try to honor my ancestors in everything that I do, it brings so much more meaning when I accomplish my goal. You understand? It because it's for something greater. It's not just for myself, it's for my family, it's for a legacy, it's for uh the message that you want to leave with people when you're gone, you know?
I remember you had said that because, of course, during the times of slavery, and when they would have the slave narrative, some people would do oral, um, pass down oral stories orally. And you had suggested that in this time, that people, African Americans, should not only just pass it down orally, but to write it down. Please go over that again and say that again, how important that is.
So important now more than ever to write your stories down. You know, I always think about what if we had the information, what if we had the history of our ancestors. You know, a lot of our ancestors didn't have the opportunities that we have now to educate ourselves and self-publish and get our stories out there, because if you don't have your story out there, who's going to tell it? You know, early this morning, I like 10 minutes before 7, a good friend of mine sent me a message, and it was Sister Soldier. She's on the Breakfast Club at 7 a.m. And I'm like, oh, I got to post this on my page. I got to listen to her, you know, because I'm a huge fan of Sister Soldier's work. And she spoke about this morning, and I was like, wow, this is so amazing that, you know, I wanted to hear something. You know how sometimes it's like that feeling when you want to go to church on Sunday morning, you like, I want to hear a word, I want to hear a word. I'm like, I want to hear something from Sister Soldier because it's been so long. And she basically talked about the same thing, about how important it is to tell your story, because anybody could say what they want about you, but it's about the legacy you want to leave, because when it's your word, it's undisputable what your stance is, you know? And so it's so important to have a stance. It's so important to have something that you believe in and to share your story and inspire other people to do the same.
That is so encouraging. Now, here's the thing I want to, because I know you're going to really get into this. How is what they call the Kickstarter for your publishing company that's coming along?
So as far as the Kickstarter, okay, that started last week Wednesday. So I just launched the Kickstarter, which is basically like um kind of sort of like a GoFundMe, but not so much. It's so different entrepreneurs or authors or all different types of people who want to start new projects can go on this site and, you know, sometimes explain what their project is about. And anyone from all over the world can sit there and they can donate to your cause. And so for me, after writing my book, A Rose in a Dark Place, I had so many people come to me about my book. Um, and that's how I ended up getting so many people asking me questions on how can I do what you did. Your book inspired me. I want to write a book. I want to, you know, learn how to do the entire process so I can teach others. And it wasn't having a publishing company wasn't my first uh it wasn't my first direction. You know, sometimes you're going one way and then you realize, okay, I can help people. And how can I help people when everybody's coming to you for the same thing and they're realizing the talents that you have? Just explore it and accept those opportunities. And so I decided, what way can I help people? And so first, I started giving consultations to 3 African American women who I adore. They all wanted to write inspirational books. One wanted to do a memoir about herself. The other 2 want to focus more on poetry. And so I met with them, every other week, and we discussed the process of self-publishing. And once we were done with that process, they were like, wait, I need help writing a book now. And I'm like, okay, now we need to go back because we can't get to the self-publishing without the writing. And so I said, what better way can I do that by launching my own publishing company? And, I already have people who I'm helping now. And so on top of that, I'm helping my own husband publish his book, which I'm really, really excited about as well.
We're going to get to that in a minute. My guest tonight is Miss Tameka Ridley, of course, an author and oncoming educator, but she's an educator anyway. She's pursuing those papers that will continue with that. And so we're glad to have her. Her Cash App, you will see come across the screen. And so please, by all means, brothers and sisters, be a blessing to her. And for her book, A Rose in a Dark Place, which you can order on Amazon. Now, how do you feel about continuing your education, your education series on Facebook Live? I know that something like that was mentioned.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Now I can hear you.
Hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so actually, this education series that I'm actually getting ready to start it this Friday. It's going to be March 5th, I believe, at 5 p.m. on Facebook Live. And I'm really excited about it. I feel like I want to be the person who I wanted to see when I was applying to school that first time when I was 17 years old. I want to be that person. I want to see somebody who looks like me advising students on education. And that's not happening on Facebook Live at all right now. And so right now is the best time because students are getting ready for the fall semester. I know I'm in the process of applying for my master's program, and it's not an easy task. And luckily, I got on it really, really early. But if it wasn't for my time management skills of trying to do things early, I probably would be behind like most students are now. So I feel like it's really, really important for me to actually start this education series. I was in a meeting the other day because, I'm a senator at Lehman College, and I found out that the ratio of students to advisors is 1 to 1,200. And how is it that, 1,200 students are all being seen by one advisor? How are they getting the help and the guidance that they really, really need? And so I feel like, if I can be of assistance, I will. And I want the advice and the knowledge that I felt like I should have had when I first applied to school. Because, yeah, I have a lot of accomplishments now, but I could have done this the easier way and done it when I was much younger. And so if I could guide someone so that they can get it done a little bit easier, a little bit faster than I accomplished it, then I would be happy.
Now, how is it? How is it now being the senator of Lehman? And tell us how that came about, because I remember that you had announced it before. So tell us how that came about and what drove you to that.
I'm gonna be honest. So A lot of times I end up in these positions that I really, really were not looking to have. I actually, to be honest, I was actually like, I'm going to be president of the Student Government Association. I said, no, I'm applying for president. I can do this. You know, I'm going to leave Lehman with a bang. I'm going to transform Lehman College. That was my goal in my mind. I wanted the top position. You know, if I'm going to go for anything, I'm going for the top. And so, I reached out to them and they were like, "Oh no, it's too late. You we have a president already. You should have been reached out to us." And I was like, "Oh, okay. So what do you have? what positions do you have available?" And they said, "We have a number of senator seats." And I said, "Okay, tell me about this CUNY Lehman Senate." And this guy named David Collard at the college, he told me about, the different things that they can do. And the most intriguing thing to me was reforming education. That you have the power, if you collaborate right, you write your proposals right, and you really do what you need to do and educate yourself, you have the power, even as a student, to change the coursework for other students as a senator. And when I realized that to me was really important. And I said, at that moment, I was in a class taking 6-hour exams online in the middle of COVID pandemic. And I go to work full time. I have 2 children. I'm an author of a book. I'm marketing. I'm doing so many different things. And I'm like, I do not have time to take 6-hour exams. This is unacceptable. And I'm like, I'm bringing this up in the next meeting. And what's so amazing? I had a meeting today and it was brought up in the meeting and the proposal, like, we're not doing this anymore. And, I feel like I can advocate for other students who don't have the time to advocate for themselves or don't have the knowledge to advocate for themselves. But it's just really, really important to use my voice as a senator to transform education at Lehman College, especially because it's the Bronx. This is where I'm from, and it's really, really important to me.
Now, when you correct me as I'm wrong, with that, as you're the senator, in some way, does that fuse ideas for curriculums as well?
Absolutely. We meet a lot to talk about different curriculum ideas. Like, as of now, they have a idea in the works. Basically, so it's a lot going on with CUNY and trying to come up with ideas for Lehman alumni when they graduate. And so this idea for Lehman alumni to now come back through internships to teach other students and actually make it a accredited course for incoming Lehman students. So kind of like those introductory courses that you have at Lehman College that you must take, kind of making something like that, but having it taught by actual Lehman alumni. And so I think it's like 1 credit courses, probably for students who only need like 1 credit to graduate and want to take a course. And, at the same time, really helping Lehman alumni at the same time. So that's something that they do have in the works now. I support it, but, I want to see more for Lehman graduates and alumni.
My guest tonight, Tameka Ridley, Mrs. Tameka Ridley. Now, this is March. March is Women's History Month. So let me just give a rundown of the guests that we'll be having all this month. Next, certainly we have Mr. Ridley on tonight. On next Wednesday, we will have Sister Sylvia Harris. Not only the mother of Michael Clayton Harris, but of course her husband, The late Dr. Michael Neely Harris, who pastored the historical Wheat Street Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia. Before going to Wheat Street, he pastored in Brooklyn, as was Harris was there with her husband at the Emmanuel Baptist Church on Lafayette Avenue. She is somebody that you really want to hear. She has such information, and she's looking forward to being on there. And then following that, we will have on the 17th, Sharon Davis Edwards, investment advisor, CEO of the S.J. Edwards Incorporated. She's going to talk about budgeting, how to save your money or how to put your money away and invest it, and various things of that nature. So we're looking forward to her as well. Now, following that, if we have it, Derek, Dr. Jennifer Jones Austin, Esquire, CEO and Executive Director of Federation of Protestant Welfare Agencies. Now, she is the niece of Miss Sylvia Harris, who will be on next week. So Reverend Dr. Jennifer Jones Austin, a friend who certainly came to the Bethlehem Nation 2 years ago and spoke to us, and her book that she has out is called Joy. Following Dr. Austin will be Minister Kania Allen, young preacher coming on, and she looks like she got an album cover on, but she's really a tremendous preacher. And so we're looking forward to her. She's Associate Minister of the Bethany Baptist Church in Jamaica, Queens, where her pastor is the Reverend Dr. Craig Scott Brown. So that's March, Women's History Month. And when I did this and invited all of them, I did not know, I didn't think that it was Women's History Month. So it just worked out well. So now, who are your clients or aspiring clients who aspire to be writers and authors? And is it diverse? You got to get your sound up again, Miss Ridley, if you can.
Okay, I'm in now, right?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay, so right now I'm just it's three aspiring writers that I'm working with. Three African American women. They all were actually people who happened to read my book and then become inspired. And they all basically they pretty much all want to do the same things, is somewhat tell their stories and make some form of inspirational book. And so, the publishing company that I want to launch is going to be entitled Inspire True Poetry, because that's what I want to do. I want to inspire other people to tell their truth, and any truth I see as poetry. So that's really what I want to do, and I'm really excited for them. They're all right now still in the writing phase. And I'm teaching them how to establish their accounts and different things. I'm actually hoping to start studying more financial literacy, so I can even go back even more and not only just teach people how to build a legacy as far as telling their truth and their stories, but actually establish generational wealth for their families in the process. So that's my goal.
Now give us some insight about your husband publishing a children's book. This is going to be wonderful.
So yes, I wanted
You're
to
excited about it.
test myself as a publisher in a way. And before doing anything, my goal was to have my husband publish a book and my two children publish a book. So my whole household will have established the legacy together. So my husband, I'm really excited. His book will be released right before children go back to school. It's called Sisters, Ready for Class. And it's actually based on the real life stories of Kaya and Sheila, which is our two young children. And so it really talks about their transition to online learning, remote learning. And it's funny, anybody who knows Reggie knows that he has an awesome personality.
Right.
And so that definitely is shown throughout the book. And I'm really, really, putting my everything into it. I went through my first draft of his book, went through the entire process with the illustrations and everything. It came out beautifully. And I said, you know what? I want to give it needs some more. It needs some more. I want some more. So I went, it's through its second revision phase, and it's almost ready to go. And I'm really, really excited for him. And he feels really, really accomplished by it. And I'm so happy that just this accomplishment in itself inspired my husband, because I had faith in my husband. I had faith in my husband that he could accomplish this. And he is about to really accomplish this. And it inspired him to actually go back to school. So Reg is back in school. He's in his first semester. So I'm super, super proud of him.
A family of learned scholars and educators. I can see it right now. So thankful to God for that. Now, speak about the importance of entrepreneurship and for you personally.
Entrepreneurship, let me tell you, I really, really, entrepreneurship, it means so much to me now more than ever, because, um, it gives me so much freedom. And a lot of people don't realize it. I didn't even realize it because I've been working my whole life for somebody else. And I'm still, partially working, another job for somebody else. But when it comes to entrepreneurship in itself, the liberty, the freedom that you get executing your own ideas and visions is so amazing. And it brings so much more meaning to everything that you do. Um, for me, that's just so important. It's important for me to uh, leave my creativity in everything that I do, from the words on the page of a book to the colors of the book cover to incorporating everything that means something to me, you know? And I really, really encourage a lot of people to focus on building some form of entrepreneurial success. Just, try to develop some form of plan, start somewhere, because it really, really is important. I always think about, you know, Black Wall Street. I want another Black Wall Street, And so, and it starts where we have to educate ourselves. And, I see so many people just trying to open up businesses, but not actually learning the tools they need to be successful. And so I feel like not only do we need to educate ourselves, we need to share that information within our community so we can build each other up. A little competition isn't isn't a bad thing. It's not always a bad thing. It could be beneficial in some ways. And so I say, seek out the information, share that information, and build together.
Now, again, my guest tonight is Tameka Ridley. Again, we will flash her Cash App on the screen, and we certainly want that you would be a blessing to her. She really has a goal, and now, which leads me to this point. Now, here you are, the woman with the goals. Here you are, the young lady who has admitted there are a lot of things that I do, and you're disciplined when it comes to it. Undergrad, master's, and PhD, and you will do it. Now, what is your drive just to do that by itself, knowing full well what the work is going to take?
Well, you know, um, what I've learned from accomplishing what I've already accomplished is to not even think negatively, not even to think that something might go wrong. Just think positively and think as if this is your only option. And so that's how I think of it. I think this is my only option. My only option is to get a master's degree because this is what I want for my children. My only option is to get my PhD because this is what I want for my children. And so, like I said, just like I want to be that person that I wanted to see in an education series when I was 17 and applying to college, I want to be the woman that my children inspire to be like, and, you know, how can I really, you know, do all the things that I really, really want to do if I don't focus on education? Education was instilled in me, my mother and father at a very young age, instilled the importance of education in me. And so, I mean, I don't have a choice. That's how I feel. I don't have a choice but to accomplish what I set out to do. And everything, I keep adding stuff on my plate, kind of like challenging myself to see when am I not going to be able to do it, because I've been just doing it. And so people say how, and I can't explain it. I just keep going. I just keep going and going and going. And I haven't stopped yet. So I'm not going to stop.
Well, that's the beautiful thing. You and Reggie have set a model for the children. I think that's just wonderful. It's just like when I would tell people, I want to be the father that my father couldn't be. That's not a negative toward him. My mom and dad were both teenagers when they got started, but I wanted me a determination to be the father that he could not be or was not present to be. So I really applaud you on that, Ms. Ridley. Now, let me ask you this. Assess, if you will, the vaccine, particularly as a mother, as a senator, as a aspiring leader, as an author. How do you look at it?
Ooh, this is a tricky question. Personally, I've had this conversation with my husband in regards to the vaccine, especially because we see so many people taking the vaccine now. You see things on the news, but it's how do I personally feel about the vaccine? I just really don't feel like I have enough knowledge about the benefits of it for myself and for my family, and do the benefits really, really outweigh all the risk? And I feel like it hasn't been tested enough in my eyes for me to feel comfortable to take the vaccine as of yet. That doesn't mean, I knock anybody else for taking it. I have friends who have taken it. I have, people who have lost loved ones to the coronavirus. And so I feel like, if you feel it in your spirit that you want to go take the vaccine, go take the vaccine. But for me and my children, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't even take the flu shot. Okay, I won't even take the flu shot. So I'm definitely right now. I'm gonna have to wait and wait it out a little bit more and see how people actually react to taking the vaccine before I go ahead and try it.
You thought it was a tricky question, but that was a very, very a strategic answer. Thank you so much for that. Now I'm going to ask you a question that you might have seen on the news and maybe in a documentary, but the recent car accident. I'm going to mention two words: Tiger Woods. The recent car accident. What's your feeling on that?
First off, I feel, my heart and my prayers go out to Tiger Woods and everybody affected by it, including his family. I mean, Tiger Woods, when you think about the name Tiger Woods, he's, incredible athlete. He's, the person that you think of when you think about golf, and you think about somebody who's changed the way we see golf. A lot of us weren't even looking at golf or watching golf till Tiger Woods came along. And so to find out something so devastating and tragic happened, I'm just glad that he's still here. I'm just glad that he's still here. I had to, when I got the news, I had to research and look up some articles to find out exactly, what happened. And I just feel so bad that something like that could happen to him. But I honestly feel like he's definitely going to overcome this. And it's going to be a blessing at the end of this for him, because he's going to overcome this circumstance. This is just something that he's going to find strength from. And so, like I said, I'm praying, that he gets well soon, and that he can, hopefully return back to the game that he loves.
Yeah. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, last week article, that the jobless rate is dropping, and is dropping. So how do you rate that? How do you see that?
I have to smile to start this one. So, um, I feel different ways about the jobless rate dropping, because when you just first hear that, you feel, oh, that that's a great thing, isn't that a great, but then when you dig a little deeper and really see what numbers that's really referring to. And so when you look and see what those numbers are actually referring to, you realize that, yeah, the jobless rate is dropping. However, that's because there's an increase in part-time employment. And so people they're going back to work and obtaining employment, but they're not getting the benefits of full-time positions. And so when you see this humongous shift where there's a lot of people returning back to work and accepting part-time opportunities, how many of these families or these workers are able to provide for their families? I mean, I know even with a full-time job that I struggle to provide. And so with a part-time job, and you have children, and you especially living in New York City, how does that affect us and our community in itself? And I feel like more needs to be done. And so we need to really pay attention to the numbers. We need to pay attention to the next election when it comes to the officials that have plans in place for increasing employment in our community, full-time employment with benefits for us. Because I mean, it's okay and it's good that people are getting jobs, but we need benefits. We don't want we cannot survive off of just crumbs. And I feel like, with the things with the stimulus, and feeling like, you know uh uh as a community, we're not getting what we need from our government. um we really, really need to put our thinking minds and thinking caps on and really educate ourselves to see how can we get out of this recession.
Now, Tameka, you mentioned so many things earlier concerning the ancestors, and of course, thanks to your cousins, Asia, Camp Jackson, and Desiree Johnson, upstate in Rochester, they traced the lineage of the family to West Africa. Senegal, I know Nigeria. Cameroon is so interesting because Cameroon is the place of literature and learning. Considering what you have done and the village that you have created for your own children, how does that make you feel to know where that, at least on your mother's side of the family, they come from West Africa, while we're doing research for everyone else?
It makes me feel good. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I always identified, with my roots being from Africa. I've always been very, very drawn and passionate about learning about my history. And a lot of times, you know, when I try to educate myself about my own history, I feel it's so many pages missing in the book, you know. And I don't know how many other people in other cultures can say that about themselves, where they're just trying to find pieces of their history. And you know, it could be hurtful to not have that history. I remember, you know, the first time I went to Washington, D.C., you know what I'm about to say, right? When I first went to Washington, D.C., because I had to, you know, you got to honor your ancestors. When President Obama talked about the museum in Washington, D.C., and I had the liberty of taking my oldest daughter with me to experience that. And it was just absolutely amazing that she was so educated on a subject. And it was so funny because when we went, it was February, it was Black History Month, and she had a paper to do. And after visiting the museum, she wanted to do her paper on Emmett Till. And I felt so good in my spirit that we were able to talk and watch videos and really bond over learning about our own history, learning about, you know, the Green Book, and learning about, you know, how different things that we never even saw. They had like educational activities where you could actually act like you trying to get down south and see the different struggles people had to go through, just going in the wrong, you done drove down the wrong street, you know, different things like that. And so it was really, really important. I found a lot of pieces of myself in that museum. And so I just, you know, really, really feel this, all of these are reasons why I feel like it's so important for us to continue to educate ourselves and make history and write it down for generations after us, so they don't have to be lost. They can know exactly where they come from.
In education, in terms of the times that we're living in, there are various ways. Name those things or point out those things that you think have been effective or important in this time.
Well, I feel like now more than ever, um, people should be going to college. I mean, college is even remote. You can check stuff right from your phone. You can, you know, you can be in the Uber, checking your homework assignments. You know, I can't tell you how many times I was in the Uber with my laptop open, doing assignments on my way to work. You know, and so I feel like there's so many different opportunities to learn and educate yourself. You know, I attend workshops and different programs, so it's not just, you know, going to college. You can attend workshops and educate yourself. They have sipping book clubs, you know, they have different book clubs you can join online. They have poetry clubs right on Facebook. There's so many different audiences and groups that you can join, and organizations you can join that could help you develop as a person. I would advise anybody to put yourself in an environment of people who you aspire to be like. So if you aspire to be a strong African American woman, put yourself in an organization full of beautiful African American women who are intellectuals, who are successful or seeking success. If you know, want to be an author, put yourself in a writing group, a book club of people also aspiring to do those things, and some people who actually successfully have done those. And seek out mentors, things that you want to do. If you know you want to, let's say you want to own a bookstore, go to a bookstore, talk to a owner, go with a notepad and a pen and take notes. You know, say, listen, you know, I'm looking for a mentor. Is there any way you can tell me about your story? Sometimes it's just the story alone that inspire you enough to seek out the information yourself to become successful, just like the person you aspire to be like.
That's great information. Now, um, I want to ask you, considering, and I know this is not what we have down, but I know that you can answer it. And considering that we have these various points of education, um, are people, would you say in you as a senator, are people as eager to be able to learn something, or because of the pandemic and various things that they're not so, because we have these various forms of depression, forms of loneliness? Are they eager to do that? Which I think for reading anything is a great distraction from that.
Well, when I speak of being in a group of senators, as far as the other senators are concerned, I feel like there's so many different ideas. A lot of us have so many different unique ideas. It's just trying to collaborate with other people where sometimes a disagreement or so may come in. But like for instance, right now, they have a $20,000 they want to spend on face masks and t-shirts. And, you know, this is supposed to be just for the graduating class because, you know, we're not having a graduation. And so I feel like $20,000 could be used on something else. I understand it's a pandemic. I understand the need for face masks, but I don't feel like Lehman College needs to provide that, especially because, you know, we're doing online learning. No one's on campus, so we don't really need the face mask to go on campus. And so my idea is use that money towards something that could really benefit Lehman graduates. So for instance, I'm graduating in May and I'm applying to different master's programs. I want to seek out more education. And I feel like that is something that we should be promoting within our institution. We should be promoting people now more than ever during the pandemic to find clarity and continue on their education until they feel sufficient enough and confident enough to go out in the world and do what it is that they really, really want to do in life. And so I want them to take the $20,000 and use it to waive all the application fees for Lehman alumni to go on to graduate school at Lehman College. There's no reason why I should graduate from Lehman College and have to seek out a application maybe at Baruch, who's offering free application. I mean, is it Baruch? I believe it's actually CUNY School of Professional Studies. They're actually waiving their application fees for people seeking master's degrees. And so if you're under the same CUNY umbrella, why is it that I should now seek out the benefit of getting an education at another school because the fee is waived for me? You know, if I'm a student who's suffering from financial hardship, this would be an issue for me. And so I would seek out whichever school is going to give me the best deal, whichever school is going to, you know, give me a cheaper tuition, you know, especially, you know, I have a very high GPA. So I'm seeking out what's beneficial for me. And so what better way to say to Lehman students, you know what, I appreciate you. We want you here. We want to teach you. We want you to help build this school and transform our school. We're waiving application fees. Congratulations, graduates. Now, if you want to seek out a master's degree program here at our university or here at our community college, you know, you have the opportunity to. You know, some people may not even be thinking about doing those things, and a free application may make them, boop, I want to, you know, I want to seek out a master's program. I wasn't thinking about it, but since it's free, I might as well and just try applying, right?
Very good. Very, very good. You are a senator at Lehman College. I want to let you know that. This is Women's History Month. March is Women's History Month. Of course, next week, again, we will just go over those who will be part of our lineup tonight. Of course, we have Mrs. Tameka Ridley, and then next Wednesday, the 17th, Sister Sylvia Harris will be here and she's from Atlanta, Georgia, but born and raised in Lexington, Kentucky. And then Following her on the 17th, the Reverend Sister Sharon Davis Edwards, investment advisor and CEO. Following Sharon Davis Edwards will be Dr. Jennifer Jones Austin, Esquire, who's been on the news a lot when it comes to federal government and mayor's office and things of that nature. Looking forward to seeing her. And open line on WBLS 107.5. And then following Jennifer Jones Austin, we will have Minister Kenia Allen, another young lady, as in terms of Sister Ridley. But then all of the ladies are young. Everyone under 100 is young. So we're thankful to the Lord for that. Now, Sister Ridley, give us whatever encouragement. Well, before you do that, what books you have read that you would advise? I mean, you said it before, but what books that you have read that you would advise for this audience to seek out?
Oh, I've read a lot of books. So let me see, one of my favorite books would be actually Jubilee by Margaret Walker.
Mhm.
I love that book. That's just something, if you want some type of historical feel type of read, it deals with, slavery. If you want something that makes you feel like you were there in a way, and just feel like some sort of connection to your history in a way, that book really does it. I love Becoming by Michelle Obama. I just received my book, the new Sister Soldier book, Life After Death. I'm so excited to start reading that tomorrow. So I would say definitely get that one. I haven't read it, but listen, I know it's Sister Soldier wrote it. It's good. So that's what I would suggest. And of course, A Rose in a Dark Place, my book, I would, recommend anybody who is wanting to hear something just raw, somebody's truth, just uncut, and just don't want it sugar coated, too sweet. I would say, seek out my book. It's really good.
I want to say that Mrs. Tameka Ridley, I'm proud to say, for those who watched it the last time, but there may be new people on, that she is my cousin as well. And so I'm very, very proud of her. Up the road, we're going to be having your cousin and my cousin, Zinzi Smith, because she does the spin classes. So, and she's really, really good. And so we're going to have her on Up the Road, not at the end of this month, but moving toward October, November, we're going to have her on as a guest. And so looking forward to, I'm very proud to have these wonderful, determined relatives that are in my family. And I'm looking for that. And of course, your cousin Nia, is on her way to college. So proud of her as well. And that was a great talk. And then, of course, I can never, ever leave out Zari. Can never leave out Zari. Can't leave out Jaleese. And at some point, I'm going to have my daughter Asia on to speak on the subject matter that's sensitive to her, that I think she would be a help to other women on. So are there any other words of encouragement that you would give to this audience?
Always educate yourself. Educate yourself. Know things for yourself. Do your research. Develop a plan for your life, whether it is for your academic success, for success in your career, success in your personal life. Just take the time out to grow and educate yourself in a way that you can share accurate information that'll help improve someone else's life, just, improve your community. And I would definitely say try to do things that not only bring meaning to your life, also give back to your community at the same time. If you go to college, don't just get the education out of it. Use the tools and resources that you've obtained to become a leader in your college, and change the dynamics of the college for the next person, because, you know, all of our experiences aren't perfect, but if we have the power or the opportunity to make it easier or make it better, let me not even say easier, if you have the opportunity to make things better for someone else, do that. I mean, I wish that someone could have done that for me. And, you know, I'm going to sit there and continue to use my voice for other people and advocate for other people's, because that's what leaders do. And I'm going to say something that Mr. Lawrence Font Leroy said. And he said, you don't have to be uh, uh, a leader to be a reader, but you do have to be a reader to be a leader. And so I would say educate yourself, read books, and, you know, don't let people just tell you anything. Be able to answer questions and have a stance on your own, you know, and never feel intimidated by other intellectuals around you.
Right.
You know, just keep on trying to improve yourself, and you will find that other people around you will be drawn to you the same way you were drawn to other mentors. And so, you know, just keep being positive, keep moving. If you fall down, get back up. There's a lot of encouraging things, and if there's ever one day where you just feel like you can't do it anymore, go on YouTube, put on a motivational video, and don't turn it off until you can't take it anymore. Or turn on some Tamela Man. Turn on some Tamela Man. Take Me to the King. You might have a few tears come down, but you will feel refreshed and reformed at the end of the day, and you'll be able to do the things that you need to do to be successful in life. And that's all I wish everyone, is to be your best and to be a success.
Thank you so much, my cousin, my young cousin, my successful cousin, my cousin who's going to build back Black Wall Street, that will help people in the African American community. Thank you so much for your consciousness of your Africanism. Because we are pro-Black, it doesn't mean we're anti-white. And that's the one thing that people seem to misunderstand. We love who we are, and I just love you for the information that you have given us tonight. And please pick up her book. It's on Amazon. A Rose in a Dark Place, inspired by the song by Aretha Franklin, written by Lauryn Hill. A rose is just a rose. And so we thank God for her. So I just want to really close out in prayer, if I can, for this young lady. Eternal God, we thank you for Tameka Ridley. We thank you for her husband, her family. We thank you for her mother. And we pray, Lord, as you continue to strengthen, and she makes the inroads and spread the road wide for many of our people who are coming behind her. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Do not forget her Cash App, Tameka Ridley, $, Tameka Ridley, author, writer, educator. I love saying that, author, writer, educator. And I want to share this with Ms. Ridley before she goes. My mother and my grandmother used to always brag about preachers and teachers in our family. Preachers and teachers, preachers and teachers. And of course, with that being said, I'm sure people did everything else, but the one thing that my grandmother and my mother always were bragging about was teachers and preachers, teachers and preachers. And here you are, the educator and the author.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to do what I'm supposed to do. That's all.
That's all. God bless you, sweetheart. And God bless all of you for tuning in. Remember, you can get that book on Amazon. See you next week, brothers and sisters, as we move toward Sister Sylvia Harris from Atlanta, Georgia. God bless you all.